It is 12 noon. Welcome back in. This is Reaction Monday on 3 Man Friend. Appreciate everyone. We still got a full bank of calls. We're going to try to get to as many of those calls as we can. Also, text messages, record number today, as a lot of people want to vent over the weekend of football. But we're going to go now live to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the head football coach at the University of Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, is meeting with the media.
Good morning. Just recapping Missouri. Proud of the fight of these guys, and it's not just the last 3 weeks. It's the last really 5-6 weeks since we dropped week one, and just the resiliency these guys have, and it's in games, and it's just them just sticking together. They're playing for each other. Got to keep it rolling. It doesn't happen on its own. It happens through hard work. It happens through building trust and belief through practice and great habits there, and it's carrying over to the football field, helping us find ways to win when it matters most. And so team football, I think, probably some of the best team football stacking weeks on top of each other that I've ever been a part of. It's not perfect. You guys see that, but it's team. It's a team sticking together. It's a team covering for each other. Doing some of the things that we couldn't do a year ago. One side of the ball coming through, getting points on the board. The other side getting a stop, 3 and out. Changing field position that way. Kicks when we need it, pinning teams back inside their own 20 in different games, just playing team football, and that's what matters right now. So I think there's a toughness that we have, and, we talk about toughness wins. That's mental, physical, to emotional toughness. I think proud of the way our guys, turnover-wise, continue to win that battle each and every week. We're winning the time of possession. We took I think, we didn't shut them down, but we took a lot of the things that Missouri did well and flipped the script on that from a time of possession standpoint, and kept them from being able to have as many plays as they'd like to be able to continue to hammer away with their run game. That's team football right there. And then I think the penalties too. I'm not afraid to talk about it with all those things, because it happens through work. You create your own luck. You create your own breaks. Could used a few more breaks when the ball was on the ground. Those will fall in our hands as long as we continue to hustle and get to it. But now the whole thing is about sustaining the energy, because each week, right? Each week has been stacked on top of itself, and these guys have been bringing it at a high level in practice, and get a great opponent with Tennessee coming in here this weekend. Understand the rivalry, and it's a lot of fun for our fans, and it goes back obviously generations. We understand how big of a deal this game is to them. We understand how big of a deal this game is to us right now in the season that we're in, and that's what we're focused on. But Coach Heupel, nothing but the utmost respect for him and his staff, just what they're doing, what he's done. Tennessee, his coaching career, an outstanding coach, great football mind. You can see it on the football field. You can see the culture that they've built there too, and looking forward to a great game. We need our fans loud, extremely loud. We need an environment, that's the best in the country here this weekend. Again, we're playing for a lot each week, and we appreciate the support we get. Our players feel the energy and feed off of it. So.
Coach, I was going to see if you had an update on some of the guys that popped up on the availability report last week. That's Jalen Hale, Jalen Mbakwe, and Caden Jones.
Jalen's been sick. Jalen Hale's been sick. That was the reason why he last minute got put on the report. Who else?
Jalen Mbakwe and Caden Jones.
Bach had a hand injury in practice last week, and he'll be back out there practicing, and we'll see kind of as the week goes on how he goes there. Obviously, he plays receiver, so that affects you a little bit. But there's other things he can do for our football team, and he's in great spirits, and so he'll go through that. Jam, and Derek will both be going through their protocol this week. Did I hit on everyone? Caden Jones, he had to have surgery on an ankle injury, and so he'll be down for a little while.
Far left, Chase.
After the game, Ty said that he missed a lot of protection checks against Missouri. Is that ultimately completely his responsibility, or does some of that fall on Parker also?
A lot of how we orchestrate it, I think, is pretty easy to see from a football mind. Just that, it starts with Parker getting things started, but Ty overrides everything. Ty makes he can see the big picture and knows really what he wants to get to. And so in the end, the quarterback, whether it's a turnover and it's not his fault, it still falls on his shoulders, the protection checks. And so Ty, he holds himself to such a high level. He's going to take accountability for all of that. He's the one that needs to declare if something's not right or what he feels comfortable with, getting us into that protection. So we ask a lot out of him. He asks a lot of himself. And it doesn't surprise me that he holds himself accountable for all of that.
Let's go to Nick on the far right here.
Yeah, kind of the weekly Caden Proctor question about the latest use of him. What did you see in that play, and kind of a unique setup with Parker being on the very edge of the line, snapping it backward like that? Just kind of what goes into that working?
Yeah, I just think, Ryan Grubb and our offensive staff doing a great job, not just with that play, but everything we're doing, continue to force the issue, have creativity, force defenses to have to think about what's next, whether it's with that package or other things that we do. We're using it in big moments. It's something that we feel isn't just this exhibition. It's something where we feel like KP can do some things, and there's a positive in a way where we can gain yards in critical moments with him. So there's a trust that we have in him. So again, I think just in general, Ryan Grubb just doing a great job, continuing to push the envelope for our whole offense to continue to attack teams in different ways. People always think attack vertically in the passing game, but there's other ways to attack people, and doing it in those moments, it's great to see our guys execute and do a good job. Got a first down.
2 questions on the front row. We'll go to Emily Grace and then Colin.
Coach, when you look at the Missouri game as a whole, you mentioned the resiliency that this team has. Is there a moment that sticks out to you that really defines it, whether it was a conversation you had with the player, or something you overheard, or just what you saw on the field from your team?
I think there's a lot of them. I think the first drive of the game, they go down the field on us, and we respond offensively with a touchdown. And then our defense goes back out there and gets the stop, and then we respond again. No one relaxing, no one flinching, even in that just sequence, 2 offense, 2 defensive series. Then I think the beginning of the second half, when we put the ball on the ground and give them a short field, they score a touchdown. That's a time where all of a sudden we had a 10-point lead, and now it's within a minute really of time on the clock, because it was the end of the half. They got a field goal and then a touchdown. All of a sudden we're in a tie game, and so. What's that look like? And it's coming back, and you can see it. And I know your question's about certain conversations, but I think it's just the look in our guys' eyes. They're in the locker room at halftime. I've referred to this a couple of times. They're looking to solve problems. There's energy. There's excitement to go back out there and continue to execute. There's not a timidness that they have. It's trust and belief in them and their side of the ball, but it's also a trust and belief that the other side's going to get it figured out. At some point, we're going to get it figured out. The game's going to come back to us if we're behind, and we're going to continue to execute and just continue to apply pressure when we're ahead.
Hey, Kalen, you already mentioned this a little bit in this opening statement, but you guys are currently tied for the longest home win streak in college football. I'm curious about what separates your home atmosphere, whether it's from past places you've been or, just in your 2 years here. What separates Alabama's home atmosphere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great environment here. I think it's the feeling you even have with the walk into the stadium, and there's just the players, we pull up in the buses and you can see everyone's ready to go. We better make sure we uphold our end of the bargain too. And so that honestly goes into the week of preparation and the understanding of what it's even going to feel like when you're practicing on Tuesday. The excitement that leads into wanting to make sure that we're at the top of our game on Saturday. So and then you get in the environment and you need crowd noise to affect the timing of the snap count for the opponent, the momentum and what that brings when we're making plays. And so just huge to have that energy being at home. I think that would go for a lot of programs, but it's definitely a big deal here for us.
Go to Katie in the middle of the room.
I know you haven't been here for his whole time, but just what have you seen from Keon Keeley and his development and waiting his turn? And then Kane just talked about him having that big moment in the game on Saturday and just kind of the way he's come along.
Yeah, he just has done a good job of just being patient. And but there's just things there's reasons that have kept him from getting on the football field that he just continues to work on. And he's got potential to do some amazing things for us. And working him into different packages this last week, I really liked the growth there. He's been involved in special teams a little bit more in the past few weeks as well. And so just continued to build each week. And as he gets more and more comfortable, I can see that impact being greater and greater. And so I'm really proud of who he's just a great kid in general. That's what makes it fun being on the football field with him. That's what makes you want to pour everything you got into him and help his growth. And then, he's humble and, obviously can make some plays. And so I'm looking to see more and more of him in the weeks ahead.
Go to Jamie on the front right.
Hey, Coach, you said before that every week tells you more about your team. After 3 consecutive ranked wins, what have you learned most about your group heading into Tennessee?
It's been a fight for these guys because it's not just those 3 games. We've had our backs to the wall since week 1, and there's a bye week in there, and so I think they've done a great job of taking whatever it is that is against us or whatever the doubt is that people have for our team and taking that energy and just pouring it into what matters most, and that's our preparation. And so this is another, there's a rivalry piece to this game, but there's also now just there's a confidence that we've built through some things, but we also got to go back to how did this all start? This all started with us just really being intentional on the work that we're doing. We've referred to just shut up, show up, and do the work. I mean, that's just really what we've kind of hold in on, and in everything we do, we just have an urgency level. And I'm really proud of the guys for not falling off that standard that we had, because that's what human nature is. You get comfortable. We've had 5 wins in a row now, and our conference and the schedule keeps you from, that's one thing that keeps you from falling off the standard, because every week if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And so I'm just proud of the way the guys have been resilient in the matters in the moments that matter most, and just continue to also understand how we've got there. And it's through hard work. It's through a lot of those things I said earlier with the team and the buy-in to each other, not wanting to let their teammates down. And so, again, we got a lot of room for improvement. You've heard from the coordinators and the areas that we've fallen short and the things that we feel we can do better.
All right, we're going to finish up all the way in the back right.
Coach, when you play tough week in, week out SEC opponents, physical, does that make you practice limited live reps, change the way you practice?
I think as the season goes along, you have to continue to keep that in mind on where is your team at. How is this taking a toll? Right now, I feel we're always monitoring it, but the pedal is down right now for our guys, and the GPS and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's other ways that we used to not be able to tell where our guys are at, and I think. From a practice habit standpoint, we practice as hard as you could imagine, and there's proof in that. It isn't just something that's just the eyeball test. There's other pieces to it as well. But we also have to understand, with your question, that there are physical games being played on Saturdays, and there are certain guys that, it hits different than others. And so, that shows up on Tuesday. That shows up on Wednesday. A lot of people read into reps and things like that. And why is this guy, his rep count down? There's probably a little bit more to that as well that, isn't seen because you're not at practice, and, who's maybe a little bit hobbled and dinged up, and, we're not making all that stuff known all the time, So I'm just really proud of the way these guys, each week, tomorrow morning, I really feel like I know what I'm going to get from our guys. I expect a high level of energy. I expect a high level of just effort. and they've risen to the occasion every week and haven't fallen off. And so that's a credit to them. That's a credit to our coaching staff for finding the ways to really keep them, on edge, keep them motivated, understand the importance of the work that we put in all day, each and every day. You bet.
That was Kalen DeBoer, his live press conference down in Tuscaloosa as Alabama gets ready for their matchup with Tennessee coming up later this week. Got some injury updates there from Coach DeBoer and many more takeaways that we'll dive into. But we also have Reaction Monday, your calls, your text. We'll get back to all that as we roll along here on the Reaction Monday edition of Three Man Front.
You just heard from Kalen DeBoer. In about an hour and 10 minutes, we'll hear from Coach Hugh Freeze, the current head football coach of the Auburn Tigers. He will join the program at 1:30. We'll get his thoughts on the upcoming game against the Missouri Tigers. The SEC has announced just a couple of minutes ago the October 25th slate of games. Ole Miss and Oklahoma, that is going to be an early morning kickoff at 11 o'clock, so you can imagine that Lane Kiffin will be very pleased about that in Norman, Oklahoma. Auburn and Arkansas, that will be an 11:45 kickoff on the SEC network. And then at 2:30, the ABC game will be Alabama at South Carolina. So it will not be a night sandstorm there in Columbia.
That's good news for Conrad.
Yeah, there'll be an afternoon game. Also, here's some options here on the next couple of games. Texas at Mississippi State, Missouri and Vanderbilt. They are exercising their windows in regards to which network. It's either going to be on ESPN or the SEC network. And depending on whether it's ESPN or the SEC network will dictate whether it will be a 2:30 or a 3:15 game. This will be a good one. Texas A&M at LSU, that will be the primetime game on ABC at 6:30 on October 25th. So that's a big one.
Yeah, that'll be a revenge game for LSU.
And then it will be a late night in Lexington, Kentucky between Tennessee and Big Blue Nation. That's a 6:45 kickoff on the SEC network as the Vols and the Wildcats will do battle. So once again, Auburn, Arkansas, 11:45 on October 25th on the SEC network, and Bama, South Carolina on that day at 2:30 on ABC. We just heard Kalen DeBoer. A quick update on some injuries that he gave us. Jam Miller and Derek Meadows, they're going through concussion protocol this week. Miller and Meadows both left the Missouri game with concussions. Meanwhile, receiver Jalen Mbakwe is dealing with a hand injury. He is expected to practice this week, per DeBoer. Meanwhile, reserve center Jalen Hale has been sick, DeBoer said. That's why he was added to the injury report late in the week. And then reserve linebacker Caden Jones had ankle surgery and will be out for a bit. So there's your injury update. It'll be fascinating to see Jam Miller and Derek Meadows, how they will progress going through concussion protocol. Because you remember when Ryan Williams, Conrad, went through the concussion protocols after the Florida State game. He missed a game before he was able to come back to activities.
Yeah, and I know some people were curious about Ryan Williams and why nobody asked Kalen DeBoer for an update on him. I would look at that as, from a health standpoint, he's where they want them to be, and he is on track to play against Tennessee. Maybe just this Saturday they were taking a little easy on him. So until we heard something further, I would think that Ryan Williams is in okay shape.
Yeah, and speaking of Ryan Williams, he was the sixth receiver to enter the game for Alabama on Saturday. He did not see the field until the ninth offensive snap of the game. He played 31 snaps total. That was his second lowest of the season. And after the game, Kalen DeBoer was asked about Ryan Williams, and he said the following: just something that carried over from last week's game. It would have been earlier in the game last week. He just took a hit and, so just hobbled. He didn't get to practice as much this week. That's why he was on the report, which makes it a little harder to get him out there, especially when you have the confidence in other guys to make plays. And so I haven't got the report exactly how he got through. I know he was there and he did help us. I would expect him to continue to make progress. He's not that far away, end of quote.
And I would assume that stems from the hit that you saw in the Vanderbilt game that some people thought should have been a targeting call that was not a targeting call, and maybe that's what kind of led him to take it a little slower last week.
And you want to talk about Alabama being able to gather a lot of major points to a potential college football playoff committee. Right now, current ranked teams on Alabama's schedule. Now, we've already reported that the last three opponents have been ranked, that Alabama has won. They have 6 games on their schedule currently, not remaining, but 6 games right now of teams ranked in the top 25. Would you like to take a guess if you added up Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon combined, how many do they have currently on their schedule that are ranked? Combined. Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. I just told you that Alabama has 6. I just gave you 3 of these so-called B.
You just said it. 3.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
It's 4.
It's 4. 4 for Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Alabama's got 6 on their schedule.
Well, that's like I saw where Will Compton was complaining on Twitter yesterday of, well, how is Alabama ranked ahead of Oregon when Oregon's one loss came to a top 3 team in Indiana? And you look at who Oregon's beat. Their best win is a Penn State team that's 3-3 and just fired their coach for $50 million. That's why they're ranked behind Alabama, because they don't have any wins.
You go back to week 1. If you're walking out of the stadium, you go to a FSU fan, an Alabama fan, you tell the Alabama fan, hey, by the way, you're going to win. the rest of the games from here on out, and then you told the FSU fans they would have 3 losses at this point, would they believe you?
I'm glad you brought that up because this is something that is going to probably be a conversation as the season progresses. Let's talk about Florida State for a minute. If you watched any of that game against Pittsburgh, Pitt went for it on 4th down 3 separate times on the opening drive against Florida State, including one time on their own 34-yard line and converted. They converted all of them. It was a 15-play opening drive against Florida State. They took a 7-0 lead. Pittsburgh also started a freshman quarterback in that game. His first game away from home, Pittsburgh had 476 yards of total offense against this Florida State defense that stymied Alabama. 476 with a freshman quarterback, and they were a double-digit underdog to Florida State.
Where would that freshman quarterback be next season?
Perhaps in Tallahassee.
Perhaps in Tallahassee.
So Mike Norvell now has 6 losing streaks of at least 3 games in his 5+ years at Florida State. Willie Taggart had 1. Jimbo Fisher had 1. Bobby Bowden had 5 over 3 decades, but 2 of those came in his first year, which was back in 1976. Norvell is 1-10 in his last 11 ACC games. And since September 22nd, 2024, 46 different schools have more wins versus the ACC than Florida State does.
Well, they play in a tough conference, Pat. Obviously, they're 0-3 in conference play, but they beat Alabama. So the ACC is the toughest conference, right?
And I bring all this up is because this could end up dinging Alabama.
Oh, it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wanted to proclaim that Florida State was back and that, you know, they were going to win the ACC championship. Meanwhile, they're over, and now they're actually talking about firing Norvell.
Yeah, but Alabama's resume, road win at Georgia, road win at Missouri. Those 2 teams aren't going anywhere. Alabama, just do your best not to throw up all over yourselves. You're in the college football playoff.
But
Conrad.
Norvell's contract, they would owe him 85% of the remaining total compensation plus incentives. Current estimates, $58 million to get rid of Mike Norvell.
Yeah. Enjoy that, FSU Dave. Start taking up the collection plate there at Social Taco.
Yeah, he's going to be there for a minute.
Yeah. Just hope it gets better.
476 yards to a freshman quarterback from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, safe to say those are 2 different teams than the ones we saw at the beginning of the year, but
6 losing streaks by Mike Norvell of at least 3 games in 5+ seasons.
Well, and I think the craziest stat is the one you brought up of you're 1-11 in your last 12 ACC. Like, surely you got a Cal or a Stanford or a, somebody in that mix that you could have beaten, but apparently not.
You got Stanford coming up, and you got Wake Forest.
Okay, you should be able to win those.
You do have a bye week that's in there. Still have Clemson on the schedule, NC State, and then you finish with a rivalry game at Florida.
But I don't mean to be like ugly here, but you're a double-digit home favorite against Pittsburgh. What makes you think you can win any of those games?
It's fair.
I mean, that's going to be a problem for Alabama. I mean, if Alabama, which I know this is blasphemy, Conrad, and I'm sorry for even muttering this.
3 losses, Pat?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Pitt quarterback's picture. Mason Heinschel.
Looks like he's 8th grader.
Yes.
Yeah.
8th grade math team.
Yeah. I think Alabama will lose.
At some point, yeah, I would say that's
they're
smart money.
not running the table.
Probably not.
That's just, again, don't ask me which one. I do not think
The
Alabama's
odds of them going 11-1 are not high.
Not with this team.
Fair.
There've been the cardiac kids here in the second half, which, again, it's turned out okay for them.
So who would most likely be?
Auburn. Dead serious. LSU hasn't scored more than 23 points this year. Tennessee has the worst pass defense in the country. South Carolina's not who we thought they were. It's Auburn. And Oklahoma's not who we thought they were. So it's Auburn.
Who is DJ Durkin at that point letting call the plays?
It's a great question.
Hey, I'll tell you this. By Bobby Petrino firing everybody on the defensive side of the ball, they look pretty good against Tennessee.
Yeah. Promoting some guys. If I'm an Alabama fan, Alabama's offense comes out and plays the way that they have been playing, I would feel really, really good about the matchup with Tennessee.
Yeah.
Defense.
So you like Alabama in the points?
I do.
As of right now.
Yes.
As of Monday.
Even strong feeling that way.
Even without the knowing whether Jam Miller is going to be able to play.
Doesn't matter.
He doesn't throw the football, does he?
I think Alabama can explosive play this team to death.
But I'm with Pat. I need to see it in the second half because it's great when you can go out there and score 21 in the first half, but when you're scoring 0 or 7 in the
Tennessee's
second half,
offense is pretty and they are good. And Alabama's defense will be tested, but their defense
it's bad. They have the worst defense in the conference.
And you just know at some point the bad field goal kicking by Talty is going to come back to haunt.
I mentioned that in the first segment.
Well,
it feels
no.
like at some point
Pat,
it
you're
might bite you.
tempting fate. The guy's hit 2. Quit running him out there. Save it for the next game.
I do think he has as many makes as Nicholson did last year.
Well, yeah.
Does Caden Proctor can Caden Proctor kick?
Oh,
That's my thing. How many? I couldn't believe it when they did another play with Caden Proctor. I'm like, are you going to have one of these every week? At this point?
Chris,
Sign me up.
Chris knows that there's a lot more plays. He was trying to downplay it so we wouldn't keep asking questions.
Yeah. He's seen it.
He's got a double pass in there.
Oh, there's got to be something.
Yeah.
And who was and they were lining up 70 in the backfield as one of the fullbacks in that power set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the jumbo package.
I mean, it was awesome. He had
it's a jumbo package.
Yeah, you had like 6 offensive linemen and 3 tight ends out there.
Combined 700 pounds coming right at you.
Yeah.
All right, more three-man front on this reaction Monday. Calls continue to stroll in at 1-800-239-WJOX.
What that guy said. I love that.
Oh, my goodness. It is Tennessee week. Obviously, we'll spend a lot more time starting tomorrow kind of honing in on that game and also the Mizzou-Auburn game. But so many of you have taken advantage of the opportunity on Reaction Monday to call us at 1-800-239-WJOX. So let's get back to the phones.
Let's go to Samuel. Samuel, how are you?
Good, y'all.
Good.
Yeah, that Missouri game was stressful until that 4th and 9, I think it was, whatever it was a beautiful pass on Alabama. That was great. And when we turned over got the interception of the last game, I knew we were winning.
It was a great win. And that throw that you're talking about to Brooks that Ty
Yes, sir.
Simpson made on, I think it was 4th and 8 officially, but yeah, that
was great.
Those are throws that win football games.
Yes, sir. You're correct. Me and my dad screamed brother murder when that happened.
Oh, goodness. Did you have something on Auburn?
Yeah, I feel bad about Auburn. I heard y'all talking about where Auburn's going to be playing Vanderbilt, not at home. And I feel a little bad for the Auburn fans. It's technically kind of a home game, but at the same time it's not because Vanderbilt will have the more fans. So I feel a little bad about their situation. I know why they did it, but at the same time, I would be pissed if I was an Auburn fan.
Samuel, thank you for the phone call, and I think that sentiment is shared by some Auburn fans today. Let's go to Rob on SEC officiating. Hey, Rob. Hey, Rob.
This is Roll Tide Rob. Am I finally on?
Hey, you're
right?
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rob from Helena.
You're
Good to hear
finally
from you.
on.
It was great to see you. Conrad missed that he didn't get a chance to say hello to you.
I was going to be right on, and it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes, but I've been hanging in there.
Well, Conrad's a liar, so that's
well, so are all the coaches in the NCAA, right, Pat?
That is correct. Yes.
Conrad was clapping. You thought he was calling timeout.
Yes.
Perfect. Love. All right, the officiating, and I'm going to get the officiating is overall in every conference terrible, and it's just I don't know if we need to get everybody in the same room, take the white hats off the ones that are doing the bad jobs, but the ones that aren't the ones in the white hats are the ones that are accepting the calls from the other people. I don't know how you do that, but I will say this: I will say that we start mixing them up this week. Have a meeting with them tomorrow and mix up all the crews, and let's try to get something better. Which brings us to my next point. Last year, and 2 years ago, Joyce Apple pretty much said in his face, "Yeah, I like to have the officials I want on the field when I'm playing at home." Is Kalen asking for his own officials? No, because we don't have any. And the thing is, how many concussions has Alabama gotten this year that have not been called? And so they're more worried about. I don't know what they're worried about. That Ty Simpson fumble that they let the play go, and let that guy from Vanderbilt go. Hey, look, my seats are KK 33, 13, 14, and 15. I was right there. I saw it all. Ty Simpson's forearm hit the ground twice, and that official was standing right there and looking at it. And he let the Vanderbilt guy run all the way down for a touchdown. You know, I just don't understand that kind of stuff.
Well, technically, I think he's supposed to do that.
Do it.
He's supposed to do that, and then they let it play out, and then they get everything set and they review what actually happened. But I think the official is instructed to do that.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but I think they had a call earlier say that the NFL does it, but the NCAA doesn't. Wasn't that about 45 minutes ago? Somebody said that. Let the play run out. Well, they did then. All right. One other thing. Why in the world? Okay, I'm not going to talk about the Kirby slap or anything like this, but I'll tell you right now, he might be a Nick Saban disciple, but he doesn't have the same ethics that Nick Saban had. He didn't grow him up and teach him that way. I'm sorry, but I just don't know why in the world that he would try to pull that kind of crap. And I will say this again. And I will let you guys answer. I'm sorry, I'm deep breath today because I hadn't called in a while. You know what? Auburn's got those same daggum calls made for them on their same stadium for 25 years. and now they're starting to get some called the right way. I just don't understand why it is. Now, I will say this. Don's a good friend of mine. He visited my office last Thursday, he did not blame the officials whatsoever. He blamed the coach. And a lot of people are. I mean, I know I just threw a lot of things at you guys, but
officiating is a side note.
My goodness,
when it comes to
SEC officiating gone to?
Rob, thank you very much. A lot you can cite, but I don't believe that led to Auburn losing that football game. It's more than anything, it's just scary to think about other games that could be impacted, are going to be impacted. And I don't know what you do about it. But it's a bad look for the SEC, bottom line. Let's go to Burr. Hey, Burr.
Hey, happy Monday, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Burr, what's going on?
Hey, life is good. Life is good. Well, I don't feel sorry for Auburn. I'm a Bama fan, so that doesn't bug me at all. But I will say this, like you guys said, that play didn't make or break the game. And I wouldn't even say it broke momentum, because when you're going into halftime breaks momentum. You know what I'm saying? You know, Bama went in with momentum, but they came out of home with the ball.
It might have been a spirit breaker, though.
Well, I get that. I totally get that. But that's where my next point is. As a coach,
yeah.
I know Auburn's had some bad breaks, especially last week. That was horrible. But it's getting to be where you're looking more to complain about the referees as opposed to just playing and doing everything you can. Because in the end, if you don't fumble the ball, it wouldn't be a question.
To your point, that's what I want to see from my head coach. We all saw it happen. We all know how bad it sucks. But I need my coach to be the one that's not wearing it on his sleeve for the rest of the game.
Exactly. And I really think Nick will be like the next play.
Adversity, guys, find a way to overcome it. Adversity, let's go. I'm not saying he wasn't saying that, but his body language was awful.
It was awful, and the way he looked, all of it is awful. But and that being said, Bama, great game, great win. I will say this. I know they were talking about it on the early show. Jackson, the cornerback Jackson, guys, for a minute there, I was telling my brother Andre, is he getting paid off or something? The way he was out of position and just being lackluster on plays, it was outrageous.
I'm going to save my criticism of Jackson Arnold. You're right. He made mistakes. There were throws that you could see, but I have no idea. The coaching staff has no idea what that offense is, what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on some of this stuff.
Well, I started to, but that pass that he missed, he was way out of bounds when the dude caught the ball. It was just obvious looking stuff. But anyway, real quick, I'm going to ask this real quick and hang up because I'm just tuning in. Any word on the UAB coaching search possibly? And I'm so excited that they've gotten rid of them. I'm going to be honest. I'm excited they got rid of them. But is there any word on the coaching staff or coach? And I'm going to hang up and listen, guys. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thanks, Burr.
Appreciate
it. In regards to the UAB situation, Mark Ingram made the announcement yesterday. Alex Mortensen, he met with the media this morning. He is the interim head coach. Alex Mortensen, he is a very bright young coach in this business.
He's awesome.
He was tutored under the likes of Nick Saban when he was at Alabama for a long time. He's done a really nice job with the UAB offense the last couple of years. Matter of fact, right now, they're 7th in the American, and you might scoff at that, but you're looking at a defense that is giving up 41 points a game. And let's just be honest, the offense doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but when it has Landrum, the offense has looked very good. But he's going to be the interim coach. But as far as the future at who potentially would be in the mix for the job, I would think that Alex Mortensen would be someone that whoever ultimately makes the decision, because I don't know if Mark Ingram's going to make that call or if there's going to be a committee, because just like at Virginia Tech, the athletic director is not making the hire. It's a committee. So I'm not sure how that's going to be handled at UAB, because obviously Mark Ingram's got an idea of who he would potentially like, while others might have someone else in mind.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it plays out. But back to Mort, he's great in getting to know him. But his childhood and obviously what his dad did for a living, but back in those days, you had the house phone. And he said he can remember the house phone, answering the phone and someone asking for his dad, and it's Bill Parcells. Or name another legendary head coach. He's been exposed to football his whole life. I'm excited for Mort. He's a great football mind, and he's a great person to be leading that program.
Absolutely. More Reaction Monday. We'll hear from Bill Clark, former UAB head coach, coming up at 1. Hugh Freeze at 1:30. This is Jock's three-man front.
$12:51, busy Monday here on Three Man Front. Coach Bill Clark, presented by Donahue Chevrolet at the top of the hour. Should be an interesting visit with Coach. We'll continue with your phone calls and reaction to the weekend. A lot of discussion. Auburn, Georgia officiating, the future of Hugh Freeze. Alabama, Missouri. Alabama gets it done again against quality opponent. On the road, getting ready for Tennessee. It is Tennessee Hate Week officially for fans like Conrad. 800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. Let's go to Big Joe. Big Joe, how are you?
Yeah, what's good?
What's up?
Thanks for taking my call, man. That Auburn Georgia game, I was there. Let's talk about SEC Ref Ken. Watching him hustle back and forth for those reviews was straight up painful. Like he was running through quicksand. Can the SEC not find some refs that's got like some athletic chops? The last 2 minutes of that half dragged on for 30 minutes.
It did.
It felt like the review office was just trying to deflate Jordan Hare. I mean, they should have went across the street to the Chris Brown show and let the referees handle it. And I also want to give big props to Auburn. We're talking about Tennessee week. wasn't it them that threw a bunch of trash on the field and got their way one year?
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody throw any trash. Now, there was some explicative language going around, but I mean, can we not just get some refs that look like they played football before? I mean, especially the white hats. I mean, because bless his heart. But that's all I got.
Hey,
Thanks, guys.
Big Joe, thank you. Sharing in the frustration. Ruh-roh. That sound means there's breaking news here on the show. For more, let's send it to the breaking news desk where Pat Smith is standing by. Good afternoon, Pat.
Well, I didn't anticipate reporting a firing moments ago. This just in. The Titans have fired Brian Callahan as their head football coach. What? Did you think it was a college coach?
No, it's just a tough day for all of us here.
Oh, was Damian crying in the hallway?
Yeah.
Tighten up.
We're going to have to let him go home early, I think.
I'll go do a wellness check during break.
Wow. I think a lot of our listeners was probably hoping for another announcement.
Well,
I didn't think Kalen DeBoer was
you got
going to get
options
fired.
there. You had options on the other announcements. You would have to specify.
Yeah, so Brian Callahan out. That was never a good fit to me. It didn't make sense.
No, you hired Joe Burrow's offensive coordinator without bringing Joe Burrow with him.
Yeah, that
kind of
didn't work.
What's Jeff Fisher doing?
Probably going 7-9 somewhere, if I had to guess.
He's got a great mustache.
He does have a great mustache.
I don't know if that gets you any wins, but
I liked Jeff Fisher for a little while.
I did too.
When is your guy in Miami going to get fired?
Probably today. I'm honestly surprised that wasn't the announcement right now.
Did you see what's the stat? Head coaches in the NFL that wear capri pants, they're 1-11.
Yeah, him and Aaron Glenn both wearing the capris yesterday, and not doing good. Do you see the clip of Tua after the game?
Yeah, Tua's calling out the organization.
People aren't showing up to meetings on time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you are the quarterback, so probably some of that leadership falls on you.
Isn't he a captain?
Oh, yeah. Captain, highest paid player on the team. He doesn't know where he is, so, you know.
I was going to let you say it. Your Dolphins head coach, it's the look.
Yeah. Guess what? That stuff wasn't brought up his first 2 years because they were winning games.
He should, well, never mind.